Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and discovering that every truck in America has stopped moving. No deliveries, no grocery restocking, no fuel arriving at gas stations, no medicine reaching hospitals, no packages at your doorstep, no construction materials for new buildings. Within just a few days, supermarket shelves would begin to empty. Gas stations would run dry, factories would slow down, and businesses across the country would struggle to operate. It sounds dramatic, but that's exactly how important trucking is to the American economy. Every day, millions of trucks travel across the United States carrying nearly everything we use, eat, wear, or depend on. From the smartphone in your hand to the coffee you drank this morning, almost every product has spent part of its journey on a truck. Yet, despite being one of the most essential industries in America, trucking is also one of the least understood. When most people think about trucking, they picture a driver behind the wheel of a massive semi-truck cruising down the interstate. But that's only a small part of the story. Behind every shipment is an entire network of businesses, technology, warehouses, brokers, dispatchers, fleet owners, drivers, and customers working together to move freight from one place to another. And here's the exciting part. This industry doesn't just create jobs. It creates business opportunities. Whether your goal is to become an owner-operator, buy a Sprinter van, invest in a box truck, build a fleet, become a freight broker, or simply understand how this multi-billion-dollar industry works, you're in the right place. Welcome to Logistics Business Academy. Here, every lesson is designed to help you build knowledge before you invest your money. If that sounds valuable, take a second to hit the like button and consider subscribing so you don't miss the next lesson in this series. In today's lesson, we're pulling back the curtain on the U.S. trucking industry and showing you exactly how it works, from the moment a product leaves a factory until it reaches the customer. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why transportation is one of the greatest business opportunities hiding in plain sight. Chapter 1. The industry you never notice. Let's begin with a simple question. How many trucks did you notice today? Unless you work in transportation, probably not many. That's because trucking is one of those industries that works quietly in the background. It's so deeply woven into everyday life that most people don't even think about it. But let's take a closer look at your day. You wake up and brush your teeth. Your toothbrush traveled by truck. The toothpaste arrived by truck. You make breakfast. The eggs, the bread, the milk, the cereal, even the coffee beans. At some point, every one of those products was transported by a truck. You drive to work. The gasoline in your car was delivered by tanker trucks. The traffic lights you pass were transported by truck before they were installed. The office chair you sit on, the computer on your desk, the air conditioner keeping the room cool. Every single one of them spent part of their journey on America's highways. Now think about a hospital, life-saving medicine, medical equipment, oxygen cylinders, hospital beds, all delivered by trucks. Or think about a construction site, steel, cement, lumber, glass, heavy equipment. Without trucks, construction projects would stop almost immediately. Even online shopping depends heavily on trucking. When you click Buy Now, the package doesn't magically appear at your front door. It travels through warehouses, distribution centers, sorting facilities, and delivery hubs before finally reaching you. And trucks connect every one of those locations. The truth is, trucking isn't just another industry. It's the industry that supports nearly every other industry. Without transportation, businesses can't sell products. Factories can't receive raw materials. Stores can't stock shelves. Restaurants can't serve food. Hospitals can't care for patients. Simply put, America moves because trucks move. Chapter 2. Follow the strawberries. Now let's understand how trucking really works by following something simple. A box of strawberries. Imagine a farm in California has just harvested thousands of fresh strawberries. Those strawberries need to reach a supermarket in New York while they're still fresh. But the farm doesn't own trucks. The supermarket doesn't own trucks. So how does the shipment get there? This is where the logistics industry begins. The farm contacts a company that specializes in moving freight. That company could be working directly with a transportation provider or through a freight broker. Depending on how the shipment is arranged, the shipment details are prepared. pickup location, delivery location, weight, temperature requirements, delivery deadline. Because strawberries are highly perishable, timing is critical. The shipment needs to remain refrigerated from the moment it's loaded until it arrives at the supermarket. Now, someone has to find the right truck. Not just any truck, a refrigerated truck, often called a reefer truck, that can maintain the required temperature throughout the journey. Once a suitable carrier is selected, the pickup is scheduled. The truck arrives at the farm. Workers carefully load pallets of strawberries into the refrigerated trailer. The driver checks that the load is secure, confirms the required temperature, completes the necessary paperwork, and begins the journey east. Over the next several days, that truck will travel across multiple states. It may stop for fuel. Drivers must follow safety regulations and hours of service rules. The refrigeration unit continues running, ensuring the strawberries remain fresh throughout the trip. Eventually, the truck reaches the supermarket's distribution center. Workers unload the pallets. Quality checks are performed. The strawberries are then sent to individual grocery stores. Within hours, they're placed on shelves. A customer walks in, buys a carton of strawberries, and heads home. From the customer's perspective, it was just another grocery shopping trip. But behind that simple purchase was a carefully coordinated transportation network involving farmers, logistics planners, refrigerated trucks, drivers, warehouses, and retailers, all working together to make sure fresh food arrived exactly when and where it was needed. And strawberries are just one example. The exact same process happens every day for televisions, furniture, clothing, medicines, car parts, electronics, and millions of other products. Every shipment has a story, and every story depends on logistics. Now that we've followed a shipment from farm to supermarket, the next question is, who are all the people and businesses making this happen? We'll break down the key players in the trucking industry, from shippers and brokers to carriers, dispatchers, and drivers, and reveal how money flows through the entire system. Behind every successful shipment is a team of businesses and professionals, each playing a specific role. Think of the trucking industry like a championship football team. You don't win games with only a striker. You need defenders, midfielders, coaches, medical staff, and managers all working together. The transportation industry works exactly the same way. Every shipment depends on different people doing different jobs, and when one part fails, the entire process can be delayed. So let's meet the key players. Chapter 3. The Shipper. Where every journey begins. Every shipment starts with one simple question: who owns the freight? The answer is the shipper. A shipper is any company or individual that needs goods transported from one location to another. It could be a furniture manufacturer in North Carolina, an electronics company in Texas, a pharmaceutical company in New Jersey, a farmer harvesting strawberries in California, or even an online retailer sending products to customers across the country. The shipper's business is making or selling products, not moving them. Most manufacturers don't own fleets of trucks because buying trucks, hiring drivers, maintaining equipment, and complying with transportation regulations would be expensive and distract them from their core business. Instead, they hire transportation companies to move their freight. This creates opportunities for thousands of carriers across the country. Chapter 4. The Freight Broker, the Matchmaker. Imagine you own a house and want to rent it out. You could spend hours advertising it yourself, interviewing tenants, handling paperwork, and negotiating prices. Or you could hire a real estate agent to connect you with the right tenant. A freight broker works in a very similar way. A freight broker doesn't usually own trucks. Instead, brokers connect companies that have freight with transportation companies that have available trucks. When a shipper needs to move a load, they may contact a broker. The broker searches for a carrier that has the right equipment, is available at the right time, and is willing to transport the shipment at an agreed price. If the shipment pays the broker $3,000 and the broker secures a carrier for $2,700, The difference becomes the broker's gross margin before operating expenses. Good brokers aren't simply looking for the cheapest truck. They're looking for reliable carriers that deliver safely, communicate well, and protect their customers' relationships. A dependable carrier often becomes the broker's first call for future shipments. Trust is one of the most valuable assets in this business. Chapter 5. The carrier, the company that moves the freight. Now let's meet the company that actually transports the shipment. This is known as the carrier. The carrier owns or manages the trucks and is responsible for safely moving freight from pickup to delivery. Carriers come in many sizes. Some operate one truck, others manage fleets of 10 or 50 trucks. The largest carriers operate thousands of trucks across North America. Carriers may specialize in different types of freight. Some haul refrigerated food, others transport construction materials. Some focus on expedited freight using sprinter vans or box trucks. Others specialize in hazardous materials or oversized equipment. Each specialization requires different equipment, insurance, and operational expertise. The carrier's goal is straightforward: deliver freight safely, on time, and profitably. Chapter 6. The dispatcher, the traffic controller. Many people have never heard of dispatchers, yet they are essential to the trucking business. Think of a dispatcher as an air traffic controller but for trucks. A dispatcher coordinates the daily movement of vehicles and drivers. When a carrier accepts a shipment, the dispatcher ensures the right truck is assigned, the driver receives pickup instructions, appointments are scheduled, and communication flows smoothly throughout the trip. If traffic causes delays, if weather affects travel, or if a customer changes delivery times, the dispatcher helps keep everything on track. Without dispatchers, many trucking operations would become disorganized very quickly. That's why dispatching has become a career path of its own, with many professionals working remotely and supporting fleets from anywhere. Chapter 7. The driver, the face of the industry. Of course, none of this works without the driver. Drivers are the professionals who physically transport freight across cities, states, and sometimes across the entire country. But today's drivers do much more than drive. They inspect their vehicles before trips, secure cargo, complete electronic documentation, communicate with dispatchers, follow federal safety regulations, monitor fuel usage, protect valuable shipments, and represent the carrier professionally at pickup and delivery locations. The driver is often the only person the customer meets face-to-face. A skilled, professional driver can strengthen long-term business relationships simply by being reliable, courteous, and consistent. Before we move on, let me ask you a question. Which part of the transportation industry interests you the most? Are you thinking about becoming a driver, buying a sprinter van, starting a brokerage, or building your own fleet? Let me know in the comments. I read every comment, and many of my future videos will be based on the questions you ask. Logistics insight. Here's something many beginners don't realize. When people say they're getting into trucking, they often imagine becoming a driver. But driving is only one role in a much larger ecosystem. The transportation industry also needs dispatchers, brokers, fleet owners, logistics coordinators, sales professionals, compliance specialists, mechanics, warehouse managers, and technology experts. Understanding this opens your mind to possibilities you may never have considered. You don't have to fit one mold to build a successful career or business in logistics. Sometimes the greatest opportunity isn't behind the wheel, it's in building the business around it. Now that you know the people involved, one big question remains. How does everyone actually make money? Who gets paid first? How do freight rates work? Why can one truck generate thousands of dollars in revenue, yet still leave its owner with very little profit? And perhaps most importantly, where should a complete beginner start if they want to build a successful transportation business? That's exactly where we're heading next. We'll follow the money, explore the different business models, and show you how to identify the potential. Chapter 8. Following the money. Now that you've met the key players in the trucking industry, let's answer the question almost everyone asks first. How does everyone actually get paid? To understand that, let's go back to our shipment of strawberries. Imagine a supermarket chain in New York needs fresh strawberries from California. The supermarket contacts the farm and places an order. The farm agrees to supply the strawberries, but now comes the challenge. The strawberries are over 2,800 miles away. Someone has to move them. The farm contacts a freight broker. After discussing the shipment, the broker agrees to arrange transportation for a total price of $4,000. The broker then begins searching for a carrier with the right refrigerated truck. Eventually, a carrier accepts the load for $3,600. The difference, $400, is the broker's gross margin before covering their own operating expenses. The carrier now has responsibility for moving the freight. But does that mean the carrier keeps all $3,600? Not at all. That money must cover many costs: fuel, driver wages, truck payments, insurance, maintenance, repairs, road tolls, compliance, office expenses, taxes. After all those costs are paid, whatever remains is the carrier's profit. This is one of the biggest lessons in transportation. Revenue is not the same as profit. A truck might generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in annual revenue, but if expenses are poorly managed, the business may earn very little. That's why successful fleet owners focus just as much on controlling costs as they do on finding loads. Chapter 9. Different ways to enter the industry. One of the biggest myths about trucking is that everyone starts by buying a semi-truck. That's simply not true. In fact, there are several ways to build a career or business in transportation. Let's look at a few. The first path is becoming a company driver. You drive a truck that belongs to a carrier and earn a wage or mileage-based income. Many people choose this route because it allows them to learn the industry without investing in equipment. The second path is becoming an owner-operator. Here, you own or lease your own truck and contract with carriers or operate under your own authority. While this offers greater earning potential, it also comes with greater responsibility. You're now running a business, not just driving a truck. Another option is becoming a fleet owner. Instead of driving yourself, you purchase trucks, hire qualified drivers, and focus on managing the business. Some fleet owners begin with one vehicle and gradually expand to multiple trucks as their experience and cash flow grow. There are also opportunities outside driving. Freight brokers connect shippers with carriers. Dispatchers coordinate drivers and schedules. Warehouse managers oversee inventory movement. Logistics coordinators keep supply chains running smoothly. Sales professionals build relationships with customers and generate freight opportunities. The transportation industry offers room for many different skills. Chapter 10. Where do Sprinter vans and box trucks fit? If you've been thinking about buying a Sprinter van or a small box truck, you might be wondering where they fit into all of this. The answer is simple. Not every shipment requires a large semi-truck. Many businesses need smaller vehicles for expedited deliveries, regional freight, medical shipments, automotive parts, retail replenishment, and temperature-controlled cargo. Sprinter vans and box trucks often serve these markets because they can move quickly, access locations where larger trucks may have difficulty, and provide flexible transportation solutions. Companies that specialize in expedited freight frequently work with networks of these smaller vehicles to handle time-sensitive shipments. This creates opportunities for entrepreneurs who want to enter the industry without immediately investing in a tractor-trailer. However, success still depends on choosing the right market, understanding operating costs, maintaining reliable equipment, and building relationships with reputable transportation companies. Buying a truck alone does not guarantee success. Learning the business does, and that's exactly why this academy exists. Logistics Insight. Before you spend money on a truck, spend time understanding the business. Many new entrepreneurs focus on buying equipment before they understand freight, operating costs, customer relationships, compliance, or cash flow. Experienced business owners often do the opposite. They learn the industry first, then they invest. Knowledge is usually much cheaper than correcting expensive mistakes. Chapter 11. Why transportation is full of opportunity. One of the reasons I find the transportation industry so fascinating is that it's constantly evolving. Every day, businesses need reliable partners to move products. Technology is changing how freight is booked. Customers expect faster deliveries. Supply chains continue to adapt. These changes create opportunities for people who are willing to learn and build valuable skills. Whether your goal is to become a driver, own a fleet, work in logistics, invest in transportation, or simply understand how this industry operates, there has never been a better time to start learning. Remember, every product you see around you has a journey, and behind every successful journey is a transportation system making it possible. Conclusion. Let's quickly recap what we've covered today. You've learned why trucking is one of the most essential industries in America. You've followed a shipment from a California farm to a supermarket in New York. You've met the key players, shippers, freight brokers, carriers, dispatchers, and drivers. You've seen how money flows through the industry, and you've discovered that there are many different ways to build a career or business in transportation. This is only the beginning. Understanding how the industry works is the foundation. The next step is learning where the real opportunities are, because here's something that surprises many people. The highest earners in transportation aren't always the people driving the trucks. Some build fleets, some run brokerage companies, some specialize in logistics technology. Others create successful businesses around transportation without ever sitting behind the wheel. So in our next lesson, we'll answer one of the biggest questions beginners ask. Who really makes the most money in trucking? We'll compare drivers, owner-operators, fleet owners, freight brokers, dispatchers, and logistics businesses to help you understand where each opportunity fits. If today's lesson helped you understand the trucking industry a little better, please give this video a like, share it with someone else who's interested in transportation, and make sure you subscribe to Logistics Business Academy. Every lesson in this series builds on the last, so you won't want to miss what's next. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.